Okay, Fandom, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. I am your host, Jeff Hasley. I'm, of course, joined by Brittany and her husband, Tom, and we have a special guest to
Yep,
show
Panther
you here
Nation.
tonight and introduce you to Hype Man Stanley McGlover. You may know him as Brian Burns' older brother. But we got a lot to talk about, guys. And we will definitely talk Panthers, but we're also going to learn a little bit more about the Hype Man. So,
yes,
stay tuned.
We got a great.
Christian McCaffrey in the open field, inside the 30, inside the 20. McCaffrey touchdown.
All right, everybody, thanks again for joining us and for supporting our show, Carolina Fandom. If you're a fan, we appreciate it. And give us that like, give us that subscribe, and you'll get more content from us. We're all about showing you all about the fans of Carolina sports. That includes the Panthers, the Hornets, the Charlotte FC. We are just all kinds of excited and looking forward to meeting our fans. And today, we've got a special fan for you. We've got Stanley McGlover, the Hypeman Loochie. Stanley, great. It's great to have you here, man.
Glad to
tell
be
us
here.
a little bit about yourself real quick, just so people know who you are, and we'll get to it. It's nice to meet you.
Oh man, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you guys. My name is Stanley McGlover, aka Hype Man. I played for the Carolina Panthers back in 2008, 2009. I'm considered an alumni. And right now, these days, my younger brother, Brian Burns, plays for the Carolina Panthers. Y'all know him as Spider Burns. And just here recently, I've been named the hype man of the team. So God is good. I'm happy to be here. And we just want to be hyped this entire season, man.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. And we're going to talk a little bit about Brian Burns, of course. And we're going to talk about your Hype Man fan club, because I want to make sure that we talk about that. But first, I want to talk about you. All right, let's see. You grew up in Florida, right? Fort Lauderdale. You were a star football player there, high school. You decided to go to Auburn, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's right. And I was looking at some of your information from college. You were 6'2", 262. You ran a 4.7 40. And wait a minute, you have to correct me on this or tell me if I'm wrong or what. But I'm showing that you had a 39-inch vertical. Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Whoa, man! How about that? So, all right. So, first of all, that's impressive from anyone who is 262 pounds, 6'2".
Thank you.
You were drafted by the Panthers in 2006, as you said. What was that like, man? What was like your first day with the team? Your first team member that kind of helped you along the way? I mean, because we're fans, man. We don't know about this stuff. We want to know.
Yeah, so we see so much of what happens after the fact. It'd be awesome to get a glimpse of like behind the curtain, so to speak.
Oh, for sure. I mean, man, it was a game changer for me. It changed my life. I mean, I was drafted in the 7th round, so it took me a long time to get drafted. But I stayed positive, and then I finally got that call, 237 pick. I got that call from Carolina Panthers, and I remember my mom telling me, I always felt like I was a first rounder, a second rounder. I had the talent, but it was a little too premature. I was still learning the game, so I was kind of moving a little too fast. But my mom just told me, be thankful that you got that call and you was able to make it to the NFL, and you was able to go to a team that with a player that you idolized, which was Julius Peppers. So that was like my dream come true.
That.
I went to Carolina. I got that call, and it was like, man, Stanley McGlover, are you ready to be a Carolina Panther? I was like, hell yes. I was so ready. And when I got there, I started off with a chip on my shoulder because I wanted to be a first rounder. I always wanted to be all over ESPN and all that stuff. Every kid's dream. And I didn't quite get it that way, but I made it to the NFL. And the first person to really take me in and really put his arms around me was Steve Smith. He just really came up to me one day and he was like, you know, what's wrong? I used to walk around every day with a hoodie over my head, kind of embarrassed about going 7 rounds because I felt like I was better than that. So every day I just walked around with my hoodie on my head and I had a chip on my shoulder. And he was like, why do you walk around like that every day with your hoodie on your head? And I'm like,
Smitty would, though. That is such a Smitty thing to
I was
say.
like,
as you can tell,
you know,
last night, I know you were at the game, but he did not mince words in the commentary. I mean,
oh no, I know.
At times, I wasn't sure if I was watching a Comedy Central roasting of.
He didn't hold back.
A football show.
That's what I appreciate about him. He's a real dude.
I love that about him.
And what he told me was, he said, you know, it don't matter what round you got drafted, you here now. You in the NFL, and if you don't get your head out of your butt, you won't make it. And that's all I needed to hear to turn my career around, man. And I ended up making the team my rookie year, which was a blessing because it was one of the best defensive lines I ever played on in my life. Julius Peppers, Mike Rucker, you know, Chris Jenkins, Al Wallace. I mean, we had everybody. We was loaded. And for me to make that team, it was nothing short of a blessing.
I remember that team. But, you know, it's funny because I remember that team, but I also remember the days before that, being from New Jersey. I used to have to go on the AOL dial-up to, you know, back when you used to be able to not use the phone when you would be on the internet. And I would go on the dial-up and I'd click the play-by-play and I'd be reading. My mom would be like, Brittany Morgan, I have to use the phone. And I'm like, but I'm reading the game, Mom, But, you know, I grew up hearing, you know, names like that, and I remember you being on the team. And just to be able to know you played with those guys that I looked up to and watched and, like, you know, would listen to streaming, you know, on the radio, you know, streaming and all that. It's fabulous. It's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. And it sure sounds like Steve Smith kind of puts his arm around everybody. And I mean, obviously he did that to you. I mean, he was talking about it before on his broadcast about other people that he's helped along the way.
Oh yeah.
I love listening to Steve on the broadcast. He does a great job.
He's gonna keep it real, bro. That's one thing I respect about him. He's gonna be honest. He's gonna be blunt, and that's what I respect about anybody. Is just be yourself. You know, be yourself. Be who you are, and everybody's unique in their own little way. So, you know, that's what I love about Steve, and I hope he never changes.
Oh yeah, and what I really love about Steve too is I love the fact that, you know, pardon my French, but he was a crud talker, you know, but he backed it up. And I love somebody who can run their mouth and then put their money where their mouth is.
Yes,
because you know what, if all you got is your trash and you ain't backing it up, well then what you doing? But till the day he hung up his cleats, that man, he said, all right, my favorite Steve Smith, I want your mother to watch Sports Center and see how I'm doing her son dirty, and I want her mad at me. And I love that. Like I love the fact that he would, you know, just be like that. You know, because not many people have the wherewithal to back up their talk. So that brings me into my next question. You know, going into last night, we saw, you know, the unfortunate, you know, side of the business. Joey Sly was let go. But the NFL is a results-based business. And, you know, as somebody, you know, who dealt with the tougher side of, you know, not being on a team anymore, I think it was really inspiring for me because I did a lot of research when your brother came into the league. You know, I like knowing who's on my team. I've always been like that, to see that you mentoring your brother, you turned a moment that was really a dark place in your life, a hard time, and you made a beautiful kind of inspiring turnaround by mentoring your brother and helping him shape him into being the success he is today. What helped keep that love of the game intact for you and not feel jaded by the experience? Because a lot of young men are out there, you know, they're trying to make a team. And then when it doesn't go their way, you know, it's very easy for them to get in their head and to get jaded. What kept you going?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Brittany. I did get jaded. I did. I looked at my relationship with Carolina like the best girlfriend I ever had. And so when she left me and decided that she don't want to be with me no more, that was hard. It was very hard to swallow that. It's hard to be living your dream every day of your life at the top of your game, at the top of life you living, like you feel like you're living a dream every day, and then one day it's gone. And something that you can't do anything about, because I mean my career ended off a knee injury. So
Yeah.
when it is gone, man, it's something so hard to deal with. It's the best way I can describe it is losing someone who you really love that just don't want you no more.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that heartbreak. You have to move on. So it was one of those things. And what really got me back into it, to be honest with you guys, my brother came to me his ninth grade year, and he told me, he was like, bro, I want to play football. I never forced it on him, because to me, football is a very dangerous sport. So I never forced it on him, and he was like, bro, I want to play football. And I was like, wow, okay. I said, well, only position I can teach you is defensive end, because that's all I know. So I can teach you that.
Oh,
And at that time, Brian he was small, man. He was very skinny and small, and he just wasn't playing sports at that time. So it was tough. But I always, made it in my mind that he could be the quickest, fastest DN if he's not as big. So he ended up taking that, man, and honing it in, and I ended up realizing just how much talent this guy really has, man. It's been nothing but a blessing ever since.
So now, to wrap it up, just one more thing. What advice would you have for any athletes, kids that might be watching that maybe have dealt with a, season-ending injury or something? What advice would you give them on if they're watching to kind of help them?
Man, please take all that passion and all that love that you have for that sport and pour it into somebody else. If you can't physically do it anymore, or you don't have those opportunities no more, give it to somebody else. Somebody else can use that. And it's value in a hype man. It's value in a supporter. It's value in loving someone and help wanting them to do good, with nothing in return. You just want them to do good. And you just never know, where that can take you. And I hope my story shows people around the world, if you just love on your brother, love on somebody else, brother, don't matter. Just love on them and give them some attention and some support. You never know how that flower can bloom into something beautiful.
And that is beautiful. And I think that's such a great message. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, that's okay. Special shout out to the skinny kids in ninth grade right now who still have a dream, right? I mean,
yes,
what point? At what? And it's really cool to learn that you were the influence in Brian becoming that defensive end, that superstar presence that he is, all because of your influence, and that's what you taught him how to play, and that's exactly what he's playing. That's super cool.
Thank you.
When did you know that he was? We're going to talk about Brian a little bit, if that's all right.
That's totally. I love talking about Brian.
When did you know that he was? He had it, man. He was rising up the ranks in his football career. When did you know that he was a legit good football player, and there was an opportunity, a future for him?
The end of his 10th grade year, beginning of his 11th grade year, he started growing a little bit. And man, the guy, his intelligence is amazing. When I was teaching him things, man, he picked it up on the first time, and I really couldn't believe that. Playing defensive end is a very hard position to play, because you're trying to work moves and do things while you're running full speed. And normally the guy that you're going against, he's way bigger than you. So it's a game of chess, not checkers. And I started realizing that around 10th grade, the end of his 10th grade year, he was picking up everything I was teaching him so fast, and then he was growing. So it was like, oh my God, wow, what is happening here? And I say the beginning of his 11th grade year, he started one of the games with like 3 sacks. And I was like, oh Lord. And that's when the excitement started building up, man. And everybody started saying, Brian Burns is a good defensive end. And then once he heard that, he started getting his little offers from college and all of that. Man, it was amazing. The light turned on, the switch turned on, and he became a sacking machine.
That is amazing. So with working with Brian now, I remember in an interview you had talked about how you wanted to make sure he was a first round pick. And I remember that because, like, my brother is trying to get into the career of music, much different, but of course I always share his stuff. There's nothing, as a big sister, who loves her little brother, man, like, when I heard your story, I'm like, man, this is like, he's his biggest fan, just like I'm my brother's biggest fan. Granted, my brother's a Jets fan. He's not going to like me week one, but I have to ask you, how did training him and getting him prepared for the NFL kind of spark, did that help also spark your love of the game again? Just seeing how quickly he was grabbing onto this, how did you kind of evolve from where you were to then you're training him and you're seeing him pick all this up? Like, what's going through your mind? What's walk us through how you're feeling watching Brian Burns become the Brian Burns he is today.
Yeah. It was wild. It was wild. I've started falling back in love with the game in his recruitment process. I realized that every school that was recruiting him had previously recruited me. So I was like, wow, that was the first thing that started blowing my mind, was the college coaches that was recruiting me was recruiting my brother. So that's how he ended up at Florida State, because of the coaches that recruited me at Michigan State end up recruiting him at Florida State, and they knew me, so they had a real love towards Brian. Like, that's Stanley's little brother. Oh my God, I gotta have him. And that's how I started. And I fell back in love with the process. I fell in love with football all over again, and I fell in love with watching Brian just grow, just get better and better. And fast forward to the draft time, I sacrificed everything, man. I followed my brother all the way to Arizona. I cook meals for him every morning to make sure that he gains the weight he needed. I mean, I was like a babysitter, walking into the workouts, taking pictures taking video, because not only did I wasn't trying to be his babysitter, but I was just trying to show him that I'm there for you. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna be here with you 100% of the way. And it's just we had that connection like that, and I wanted to see everything. I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to make sure that he didn't do anything to mess up that opportunity to make it. And I know that if he could put on that weight, that he could be a first rounder. I ain't care what nobody said. I knew if we can get my brother to gain a little bit of weight, he'll be a first rounder. And that's what we did. We put on 20 pounds, 25 pounds in like 2 months or something like that, month and a half, all muscle. And I was very proud of him. It wasn't easy because he's not used to eating like that. So it was not easy by a long shot. It was a lot of hard nights. A lot of nights he didn't want to hear what I was talking about. We brothers. At the
sometimes
end of the
they
day,
don't want to hear it, but sometimes they gotta hear it you gotta give them that tough love as the older sibling.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next question. Was there a specific technique that you used when working with Brian that you would emphasize? Like specific drills or?
I would have to say love through my coaching. I just showed a whole lot of love to him. I never really beat him down when he did anything wrong. I always found a way to talk to him and criticize him without making him feel some type of way, because I'm his big brother, and what I can say can it can have a big effect on him. So I just handled him with a lot of love and care. That's my advice to anybody training someone. It's you got to know how to teach before you can coach. So I learned how to be a teacher, and what I do now is coach, because he's already got it. So a coach is just, hey, do your thing. But as a teacher, you actually have to break down the game and the fundamentals and teach him how to play the sport. And once he learns that, then you can become a coach.
So you were a Panther. Obviously, he gets drafted by Carolina. Is there any story there? Did you guys have any idea? How did that even all come about?
Man, I have to be honest. It was destiny. All God. I mean, we don't have the same last name, so nobody would have ever knew that was my brother. I had one chance. I went back to Carolina. The NFL Legends community brought me back to Carolina, maybe Brian's junior year in Florida State. And that was my first time being back to Carolina in years. And I walked and I got that love from the people, man. And I was mingling with all the NFL legends. And Marty Herney walked past me. and I just had like 2 seconds to speak. I was like, Marty, I just got to tell you, I got a brother at Florida State. He's way better than me. And he just looked at me and he smiled and he kept walking. And then the next time I seen him was at Brian's Pro Day. And I had another three seconds to talk. And I said, Marty, this guy is way better than I ever been. And I taught him everything I know from Julius Peppers. That was the quickest thing. That's the first thing came to my mind, what to say. And I said it to him, and he looked at me and he smiled. And then I watched him watch Brian the whole pro day, and I was just in tears, crying like a baby. Because I could not believe it. I just couldn't believe that the Panthers was actually that interested in my brother. And that's all I knew at that time. We got to the draft. I had no clue. I just put on Carolina colors because I had
and I was about to say that. It was almost like you had that premonition. You wore the Carolina colors.
It was just all
when he's
faith.
Walking up to the stage, and I teared up. I'm watching you behind. Big brother's behind you. Big brother's behind you. And I'm like, and you're wearing the Carolina colors.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, how cool
that moment was.
You knew.
The moment was unbelievable. I had so much faith in Carolina. I didn't know if they were going to trade up and get him or what. I just hoped to God that that's where he could go. And when I seen that 704 as the area code calling my brother, it was, nothing short, less than a miracle to me. To me, I feel like it was destiny. I went 237 pick, and my brother was a first round of 16 pick, what I always wanted to be. And to see him do it, genuinely, it just made me so proud.
And I do feel like God, and I'm a spiritual person. I do feel like God works through, people, and your experiences were to put your brother where he is today.
Amen.
God uses people to get for the greater scheme of things. And, I just think it's just the whole story, it very much vibes that your experiences were for a greater purpose in your brother's life. And that's just really beautiful and touching.
Thank you, Brittany.
So you know what? Every player has a story, and it's so great to hear your story as well as Brian's, and how that all came about. So, thanks for sharing that with all of us here.
No problem at all.
So I want to talk about your fandom with Carolina, if you could. So I've got a question here. We got a question from the audience. What's your favorite memory of the Panthers as a fan?
Oh, wow. As a fan, my favorite memory is when they drafted Julius Peppers. I was already an idol. He was already my idol. I loved everything that Julius Peppers did when he was at Carolina. And when Carolina drafted him, that's when I became a Carolina fan, that day right there. And I can tell a small story when I was at the Combine, and Sal Sinceri, which was the position coach at that time, he asked me one question. He said, "Who's your favorite defensive end?" And I said, "Julius Peppers." He said, "All right, talk to you later." That was it. And that's how I got drafted from the Carolina Panthers. Because my favorite player was Julius Peppers.
Oh, how about that?
And it gave me an opportunity to learn from him, man, and I wasn't going to blow it. I was not.
When did you first meet him?
First day I made it to Carolina. I walked through the locker room. I was meeting everybody. And Pep was the only one that didn't speak or didn't talk. He was like, he had this aura around him, like that's like the president. Like you can't even get nowhere near him. But I was crazy enough to do it. I was crazy enough to walk up on him and, man, I love you, Pep. I just had to let him know.
He's probably like, who is this guy?
I followed him around my whole rookie year. I just followed him around everywhere you went, just trying to learn everything I could learn from him. It was amazing.
That is a great story. So yeah, as far as your fandom for Carolina, do you go to all of their games, their home games? How does that work?
Yeah, I've been ever since my brother been drafted, man. I've been very involved in the Carolina community. Just trying to give back to the fan base, something that may not be easy for a fan, like getting jerseys signed or getting these players to talk to them or responding to like stuff like that. I've been a fan before and I've been a player. So I know exactly how it feels on both sides of the table. So I try my best to meet right in the middle and be that person that the fans can depend on for like great giveaways, jerseys, autographs, stuff, whatever. It's something
You
that's
still
so
got to
small.
sign my book, man. I have a book, and I want you to sign it too, not just your
No
brother.
problem. No problem. It's something that I see so small. It's a small gesture for us to do as players, as people, just to show love. You know, everybody. I mean, it's a great thing when somebody actually loves you. You know, and a fan of yours. So you can't take that lightly. You know, I've been on two sides of the fence. When I was playing football, I had fans. Everybody was loving me, and the minute I stopped, it was no fans no more, and that was a terrifying feeling. So I know how that feels. So I never take it for granted. If somebody love Hype Man or love my brother, I take that serious because we appreciate it.
And that's great. That's really a great attitude to have. And as I know, like I see you interacting with the fans on Twitter, and I think that it's really great. I love that you and your brother are so approachable. And I think that goes a long way, especially with those of us here in Carolina. We call ourselves a fan base, because we're one big family, and that's one of the reasons. We have Carolina Fandom. We want to know about the fans. It's not really so much a analysis show. It's more or less like, hey, tell us your story. How did you become a fan? Like, we are so fascinated with learning everybody's story because everybody has a story. And
yeah, for sure.
I want to hear about the Hypeman Loochie story, or whatever it is that you can
I think
tell
Tom
us.
has a question, Mr. Quiet.
Oh, Mr. Quiet, go ahead.
Now you show me the pictures of the Hype Mobile. Is that for the away games?
Yeah, well, all home games will be tailgating at Hot Fly Brewery on Mint Street for every home game, and then we're going to take the RV to a few away games. And then I got a surprise for the fan base as far as the away games as well. So y'all stay tuned for that.
All right.
A little dangling the carrot.
Looking forward to it.
So Hypeman Loochie, where's that come from? And tell us about this character, what you want to accomplish with that, and anything else that you just kind of want to divulge or share about that that character. If you want to talk about your fan club, now's the time to do that because we definitely have interest in that. And if we can, support you and your efforts of that and get this out to other fans, we'd love to do so. So
thank you.
Tell us all about that.
Well, basically, it's a cool story, man. Carolina, they reached out to me on my brother's birthday, and they sent me a plaque, and it said I'm the ultimate hype man. And that it was to me, it was like something that made me feel so warm inside and great inside because they actually noticed what I was doing, and I wasn't trying to be noticed. That was the thing.
Right.
I really and truly wasn't trying to be noticed. Sorry, y'all, I got to grab this food. But I wasn't trying to be noticed by Carolina. I was just naturally doing what I do every day. I'm just being myself. And they made me the ultimate hype man. And at that point, I'm sorry, y'all.
No, it's all right.
Don't apologize. Like I said,
it's like an old David Letterman.
Like, I'm sitting here on my couch with my Panther pillow. It's all good.
All right. So once they did that, it was like, wow, for the Carolina Panthers to shout me out like that and send me an award, I really took that serious. Like I tell you guys, if you show me some type of love, I'm gonna love you back. I'm just loyal like that. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an emotional guy. So I was happy. I was happy. And I told myself, hey, I'm Hypeman Loochie now. I just named myself. And
I'm emotional too. In fact, he actually laughs at me with just how opinionated I get during the games.
Yeah.
And like when I hear like last night when Smitty was talking about, Sam Mills, who was the reason I became a fan, I started crying. And Tom's like, he does this thing where he goes, well, isn't that sad? He pretends he's crying just to get me to laugh because that's literally me. Like I literally cry over everything, and I'm a very emotional. Like the love, it's ridiculous, it's insane. And growing up in a house where now my father, huge Jets fan, my brother, God bless him, he's taking on that mantle of somehow them shooting themselves in the foot every year. You know, God bless him for that. Love my little brother, don't love his choice in the team. But, you know, I'm very like, and I grew up scrappy. Like I had to know my facts. I had to know my stats. I grew up with Philadelphia Eagle fans in my schools and Giants, and of course the Giants fans are interesting. They'll ish talk you when they're good, but when they're not doing so good, they're quiet. But I've always been an emotional. I'm like, that's why, like, your energy, the first time I actually saw you, like, in person, I had to go up and introduce myself to you because your energy just matched my energy. And I just feel like this guy has such pure, awesome, wonderful energy. And,
Thank you.
you know, you're definitely somebody, and I'm not just saying this because you're Brian Burns' brother or because you played for my team. Like, I would want to be friends with you, even if you were just some guy I met at a game. You know, like you have such pure, awesome, loving energy, and I love that about you.
Thank you so much. And you know, with the hype man thing, I don't look at myself as a super fan. I don't look at myself as the best fan. I don't look at myself like that. I look at myself as the hype man. I'm gonna get everybody hype. I don't care who it is. It could be the lone snapper. It could be the top cats. It's the drummers. I talk to everybody. I hype everybody up, man. I show love to everybody because at the end of the day, I'm so thankful to be here. I can say it 1,000 times. It's a full circle to be back here after 13, 14 years and watching my baby brother do what he's doing on that field. There's nothing that can make me mad or sad. I'm living in the dream. So why not
You
show
definitely
love?
are, man.
Why not give back? Why not put smiles on other people's faces? Why not?
So now, is there a process for joining the Hypeman fan club? I have to ask, like, is there like a website you go on? Okay, because I mean, I'm an unofficial member right now, but I need to do. I need to like officially.
Well, the website is onesleevenation.com/Hypeman Loochie.
Okay.
And you'll get the bio, you'll get everything. It comes with some good, cool gifts, great giveaways. Y'all will be automatically included in the giveaways that I do. My tailgates are free, so you
That's
come
awesome.
to that anyway. So
I am a
just
member
come
of the
have
Roaring
fun,
Riot,
man.
but I will be tailgating with you.
Yes, let's come have
I'm
fun,
just throwing
man.
that out there.
Let's have fun. I got some live music going. I got the big pretty hype mobile out there, and you know it's just I want the fans to have fun and get hyped before they actually get in the game.
You were listening to some Rick Ross this morning, so I know you bring that. I know you bring the hype with the music.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's cool, man. We'll definitely put that link up on the YouTube page so that you can access that. Also through Twitter as well.
Thank you.
Can we talk about the Panthers a little bit here, though?
Yeah.
I do want to do that, right? And let's talk about the game last night. Of course, it's always good to have a positive game as your last game in preseason. That was definitely a positive game.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts on Sam Darnold, on the defense, man, that looked good. I mean,
your brother getting that interception. I was so proud. Right?
I mean,
how high did I jump off my couch? I was like, "That's my boy!"
It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about, are they ever going to force a punt?
You're right.
Right?
It's
come a long way.
Man. I feel like it's been such a long time
since
I could say we had a great special teams unit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited. Sam Darnold, come on, guys. He's better than Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sorry. I just got to go ahead and say it. So it is what it is. I feel like he's a better quarterback, and I feel like he can manage the game, but not only manage it, I feel like he got the qualities to make us win a few. I like that he's not scared to lead the pocket. He's not scared to throw the ball deep. He's not scared to use his tight end. So those things are very key in the NFC, and with our schedule, you got to be able to use the whole field. And he hasn't had Christian McCaffrey yet. So what he's doing without Christian is a great thing because any quarterback would love to have Christian McCaffrey as a safety valve. So I like our offensive line. I know a lot of people don't, but we're gonna mix and match. Trust me, we're gonna find the right nucleus of players this is what happens in training camp. It's just glorified at this time, but in training camp, you have to let everybody play. You got to find who has it. So sometimes it's going to be sacks and it's going to be stalled drives because you got brand new players trying to gel together. So I
chemistry
do like
needs
what we
to be
have.
built.
Exactly.
And people forget that last year with COVID, the Panthers, like many other teams, did not have the opportunity for OTAs, for preseasons, for all of that. So a lot of these guys, this is the first normal, like, off season with preparations that they really get to have, which, I mean, I think that it's interesting. And I will say this, I love the fan base, but I will say, like, as far as I went to bat for Darnold when we traded for him. People were very unsure, but one of the positive things about, growing up with Jets fans was I got to see guys like Robbie Anderson and guys like Sam Darnold and see what they were capable of and see what they could bring to the table in Carolina and be like, look, I know you don't think it's that, but in our system, this is going to be great. So, I mean, I've gone on record. I am pro Darnold, and I, like you, Stanley, believe that he's a way better option than.
I mean, it's just the truth. It's the truth.
What can you say about Hassan Reddick's position, his presence now on the defense, and how that's going to change things? And also J.C. Horn, his presence, how is that going to change things? Maybe be able to. The quarterback will need more time to throw, and therefore there's a possible sack that could result as a result of that extra time. That kind of thing. Can you talk about that?
I love Hassan Reddick. I love that addition to our squad. He gives us more versatility. He can rush the passer and drop. Brian can do the same thing, and having that, it's hard to know what side you want to slide your protection to. So. It's not going to be that easy to double team anybody on our defensive line. It's really not. Hassan he has this special quality of getting to the quarterback. I ain't gonna lie. He's pretty good at what he do, and I like him. I like the competitive edge that he's bringing to the defense. Of course, you want to have, you want to have that. You have to have that on a great defense. You have to have them competing, and it's a race to get to the quarterback, and I love that. And J.C. Horn, man, he's a dog. Everybody sees it. He's responsible for all the fights in the preseason. I mean, I love it. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing because you have to grow up fast in the NFL. You don't have time to come and be a rookie. Just because you're a rookie, you can't be no rookie.
You're held to the same standard as the guy that's
you got to come be a grown man. When you lace them cleats up in the NFL, you're a grown man now. And it's men out here trying to feed their family. So I love his attitude that he come in the game with, and I think he's going to be a lockdown corner for us.
I think that the swagger is coming, and we haven't really, as Panthers fans, we haven't really seen that swagger since Josh Norman in the 2015 season.
Spot on.
So if he can bring that, swagger, if he can potentially eliminate one side of the field that the quarterback is now looking elsewhere, and safeties they can bracket over whatever, right? I think that's going to be a great thing for the defense, and we're already starting to see dividends from that. So, and it's just preseason, but I mean, they're rocking it. What do they have? 2-3 interceptions, and they're doing great. They're doing great.
One's looking real good.
We held their offense to nothing. We forced 3 and outs. I mean, that's stuff you want to see in a defense.
That's what you want to see,
especially considering like this is the first half was when we really saw our starters really get to shine both on offense and on defense, and to see our defense come out that fast. But I have to ask before we get off the topic of defense. Now, there's been a little bit of a rumor that your brother Hassan Reddick had a bet regarding whoever gets the most sacks has to buy a golf cart. Now, my money, I'm not knocking Hassan Reddick, but my money's on your brother by 2. And I think that bet should be amended, to loser buys winner and Brittany a golf cart. I live in DC. I live where I live in South Carolina. TBK is very golf court oriented. So listen, Brian,
like that.
maybe he can hook his sister up because I'm betting on him.
For sure. I like that.
Kidding, of
Golf
course.
carts
but-
for everyone. No, yeah, if they can, you get a golf
it's
cart,
definitely
and you
true,
get a
man.
golf cart.
They got a
Score,
friendly,
Jeff.
they got a friendly competition
What's that,
going
Tom?
on, man.
I was gonna say, what's your prediction? Brian and Hassan, what's the score gonna be? I got Brian 12-11. Those are just the numbers
If they
that come
both
to my
get
head.
double digit, I'm fine with that. 12-11, 12-10 and a half.
I
Heck,
was
I don't
gonna
care.
say
I
same thing.
got Brian 14, Reddick 12.
I was gonna say the same thing Jeff say because I don't want to jinx anything, so I would say anything in the teens is a great fight for me. If y'all
right.
end up fighting it out in the teens, that means as a defense we are winning. So whatever it is, as long as it's in the teens, I'm with it.
Yeah, teens, double-digit sacks, and 40
Yep.
tackles. That's the plan, right?
That's the plan, baby. Out of both of them.
Shout out to my buddy Steven, who always ats you saying, "Get Brady."
I love that. I love
He
that.
is such a card.
We gonna get him. We definitely gonna get him.
Oh, we gotta.
Team Stel Mingo. This is Edgar. It's got to be Edgar.
Hey,
Edgar.
Hey,
Edgar.
Edgar. That's got to be Edgar. So yeah, we'll have Edgar on the show again here. He's awesome. But he says
Awesome.
hello, hype man Stanley. That's awesome. Cool. Hi, Edgar. Edgar is he's a Carolina fan in LA. He's in California.
Dope.
He's a huge
Dope.
California or
LA in the house.
Carolina fan. So
Dope.
that's awesome. Cool.
Hype man,
Yes, sir.
when you see like the defense, like the way they practice nowadays, is it similar to what you remember playing, or is it different? And in what way?
It's totally different, man. I wish I could play football right now. I mean, it has got real easy. Now, I ain't gonna say easy, but the safety measures is great. Cutting back, dialing back all that, hitting and all that two-a-days and all that rough practices during the week. It's just not good for your body. You already been playing football for years and years and years. So anywhere where they can cut a little slack, man, and get these players longevity, a longer lifespan in the NFL, I'm all for it, man. I mean, I went through it. When I played, it was the heyday. The concussion wasn't really involved like that. I mean, people was getting concussions, and you just have to get up and get back in the game.
Wow.
So it was brutal. It was brutal back then.
So different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so now
that
they're very protective over the players, and I think that's a great thing. I think that gave the NFL another 100 years of life, just by being able to preserve some of these guys. You was having a lot of guys retire at young ages because of these concussions and brain injuries and stuff like that. So I think putting the safety first and foremost was a great thing for the NFL, and it showed the integrity that they do at least care about these players a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it even, with Luke Kuechly, who had suffered a number of concussions, and that was hard.
Yeah,
of course,
it's a brutal sport. Brutal.
Yeah,
Especially for linebackers, and people don't talk about it as much. But a linebacker is a very hard position, especially the Mike. He's very, very physical, and it's hard to play linebacker and not use your crown. It's hard, so you can get ran over, you can get your neck broke, all kind of things can happen because you don't really know how to hit the running back. So it's been a tough transition for defensive players, but the safety is first.
So what do you think of Carolina's linebackers this year? I mean, last year they brought in Tahir Whitehead, and he wasn't really the answer in the middle linebacker position. So what do you think of who's going to be the middle linebacker this year? Is it Carter?
It's Carter.
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 Luke was at practice this week. Actually, Jermaine Carter was he was mentoring him and talking with him. Yeah, it's Carter.
He's real active on Twitter too. I really enjoy following him. He's got a lot of stuff to say. Although lately he's been kind of quiet, but we all know why.
He's really active on Twitter as well, and I love his glory to God tweets.
He's LB1 for sure.
That's awesome.
I love Jermaine Carter. I love the aggressiveness that he plays with. He's a dog. He's the general. He's the quarterback of the defense. And I'm ready to see what he's going to do this year.
You weren't a big fan of Whitehead, were you? I saw the look on your face.
Not at all.
I
I
wasn't
don't need.
either.
I address them by number 52.
How badly did I yell at the TV?
Hey, I seen him play last year. I'm neutral, and I'm like, no, this guy's not the answer.
Nah, I call him number 52, man. I didn't like that experience at all. I didn't. But our linebacker core right now, Shaq, Jermaine, we winning.
So we've got a question from the audience about being critical about people's performance, different players, like Steve Smith was against Sly, and we sort of talked about this earlier.
Yeah,
you know, it's big boy football, right? It's you got to be able to take the lumps too, right? What are your thoughts on that? I'm being critical towards people. Is that a coaching move? Is that just kind of like a big brother kind of telling you how it is? That's how it is. You know, how does it?
I think all three of you guys and myself included, I want the truth. Don't sugarcoat nothing for me. If you don't like how I'm playing, you don't like my game or what, it's your opinion. I can't be mad at you for that. You know, it's people that don't like what I'm doing as hype man, and I don't harbor any bad feelings towards people because it's your opinion at the end of the day. And if you're playing a sport that millions of people are watching, they're going to have opinions, and not all of them are going to be good. Not all of them are going to go in your favor. So I appreciate the authenticity of somebody giving their real opinion about how they feel about your game. And sometimes it helps the players. It helps them. It motivates them to be better.
Right.
You know, if you always hearing all the time how good you are, you get complacent.
Yeah,
So
right.
It's true.
And that's a dangerous thing sometimes.
It's a balance.
Get complacent.
Yeah, it's a balance. You know, when you're doing good, get praise. When you do bad, you got to take the criticism that comes along with that as well.
Yeah, because I know some people, and this was a big thing of not really like heated, but like kind of like a mini debate. I'm sure you saw it on your timeline on Twitter. Some were saying, okay, Smitty took it too far with the criticism of Sly, and then other people were like, but no, he didn't, because if you're going out on that field, you got to be prepared for good and bad, the press that comes your way. I mean, I think personally,
it's part of the business.
If it would have came from somebody like that isn't known for that, it would be different. But it's coming from Steve Smith, and it's like most Panther fans remember when Steve Smith played, just how in your face and just telling it like it is he would get in the ice up, son. You know, that didn't come that came about.
He's a dog. I mean,
he made Talib, you know, Talib had to leave. He finished the game and Talib didn't, you know. So I think that when you take it from the fact that Steve Smith was never one to mince words, ever.
Right.
So I think the fact that, you know what, he roasts him, but I think that at the same time, Sly was given a chance. You know, it wasn't like he had one bad game or he had two bad games. You know, I mean, let us not forget the easy 25-yarder against the Saints that he completely he would have made that could have changed the whole momentum of the game. And what Smitty said last night, when that is your role on a team, is to be consistent and have that consistency. You know, as I said earlier, it's the NFL can be a very unforgiving mistress. You know, it's what have you done for me lately?
Period.
And you know, it's nothing personal. I mean, I think Joey Sly, the person, I wish him all the best. I hope he gets an opportunity very soon somewhere. Now, I do hope if he ever sees us again, he shanks those field goals, but that's a different story. Only when he plays the Panthers.
No, man, he'll make those field goals if we see him again. That's just how it works.
I don't think Steve Smith was too harsh. I just think that's just how he is, and people need to either accept that or take it with a grain of salt because that's just his personality.
It is what it is, and that's what makes Steve great too. I mean, he's got some Charles Barkley in him a little bit, right? I think so, because he kind of tells how it is, but he's got a little bit more reverence, in my opinion, than Chuck. But
it's just being unique, man. Be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I respect Steve for being himself. If he was getting on that, if he was on that microphone saying, "Oh, this and all that," Joyce, like that's not him, and we wouldn't want to hear him. if that was the case.
It's true.
We would want somebody else to be up there. We want to hear Steve because we know he's gonna keep it real. And
Yeah.
people want realness. People want realness. That's
Yeah.
just like y'all
And
do
sometimes when
a
people
show,
do keep
right?
it real,
Y'all
other
got
people
this
can't
show
handle
going
it.
on, right?
Yeah.
If Jeff don't show up to the show all week long, he's late all week. He's supposed to be hosting this show. Every day he's late. Eventually, y'all gonna have to find another host. I mean,
That's
what
right.
else do you what you want me to say?
That's
Jeff's
right.
not getting the job done. We
That's
love
right.
Jeff, but he's not getting
Right.
the job done. We
Right.
want you to. We don't want nothing bad to happen to you in your personal life, Jeff. But
Right.
if
But
you're
we need
not
to find
handling
someone
your
who can do
job,
the show properly,
gotta
right?
move
It's
on.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It is what it
I'm
is.
sorry, using you for example, Jeff.
Hey,
Right. And
I'm fine.
especially when it's Steve Smith, you know he's not gonna take it easy on anybody.
Nah, that's
At
not
all.
him.
He don't
He's not that
care
guy.
who you are.
Ask
He
Aqib
don't care
Talib.
what you've done.
Ask Janoris
He's gonna
Jenkins.
call it like
Right.
it is.
Ask Fred Smoot.
Right. And still one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. Just,
Oh, yeah.
He know how to turn it on and turn it off. So I respect him.
He's definitely one of the Panther greats that are on my bucket list of people I would just love to sit down and have a conversation with. I know, like tonight at dinner, Tom and I were talking. He was just rattling off names of some of the greats, and one of the he's like, who would you want to sit down with? Who was it? Who'd you put Steve Smith up against? Him or who was it?
Keekly McCaffrey.
Was it?
I think it was Smith or Moose.
Was it Smith or Moose? And I love Moose. And in most cases, I would pick Moose. But I said I would have to pick Steve Smith because he got to play with Sam Mills. He got to see the Panthers through so many phases that he's just a player I would love to sit down and just pick his brain and know what it was like, because he just knew and was played with so many from Cam Newton all the way back to Sam Mills. I mean, that's just so. I mean, I'm pretty hard pressed to get a. I cried. You mentioned how you cried. Carolina was the best girlfriend you had. Smitty was like, when we let go of Smitty and I watched him go to the Ravens, man, I sat there with a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I was in my robe.
Yeah.
Tom walked in and I'm like,
that was tough.
Smitty. Like,
You remember?
that
That
like
was a tough
personal tragedy for me.
Yeah.
It really was.
Remember when he came back and he torched the Panthers on his return? Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
We all knew that was coming.
Yep.
After his Achilles, no doubt.
Yeah.
Phew, man. Well, hey, Hype Man, it is great getting a chance to meet you, to know you, to hear your stories. So we definitely appreciate
one more
that.
thing we forgot to ask you, going back to your brother, what is something we as fans may not know about him that would surprise us? Like give us
that you're of course willing to share.
Yeah, if you're willing to share, it's not too personal.
Yeah, because she still wants the golf cart.
He really, really, really loves animals. This guy is an animal fanatic. He watched Animal Planet. He knows about every animal. You can ask him about any animal. He knows what it is. Like he has a really deep connection towards animal and nature. He
likes spiders.
Yeah, definitely loves. He loves a great scenery. He loves like traveling. He really loves to travel. So he's a really deep guy outside of the field. And I think that's what's gonna, once people get to know him more and more and more, they'll see that, man, he's so intelligent and so many layers to him. You just fall in love with him just because of the person that he is. You wouldn't even imagine that he's a superstar if you didn't know him.
Question for you, Hype Man. Is, other than football and obviously being your brother's ultimate hype man in the teams, is there a specific cause that you really want to raise awareness for, that you just want in the spotlight to?
That's a great question, man. That's a great question, bro. Yeah, I like to get behind autism. Autism. I have a foundation called Hype for Life. Autism. My son has autism, so it's been something that's been very, very near and dear to my heart. He's 3 years old now. and it's been very tough for me to deal with. But at this point now, I embrace it, and I started a foundation called Hype for Life, and just trying to support everybody that's dealing with autism, because it's not that much support out there. It's not that many people that's involved in just the education of autism, and how many people that really does have it, and how many families that it does affect. And just loving on those kids, man. It's really that's something that touched my heart big time. And experiencing it firsthand with my son now makes me want to get involved way more. So that's a great question, bro, and that's something that we definitely doing with my business, with myself. But we are Hype for Life Foundation for everything that we do.
And that's really important, because I know I actually, not many people know this about me, but before I, changed careers, I taught preschool for 9.5 years. So I saw a lot of kids that struggled with autism.
Mm-hmm.
My godson has Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism, but his is very based in a sense, like, if anything about his routine isn't the same every day, his day's wrecked. He doesn't always know how to cope if he's thrown a curveball. So I definitely appreciate that cause, and as somebody who has seen both, within my own family, someone who was diagnosed with autism and thankfully only has it very mildly compared to, but then I've seen it on a greater scale. It is important, I think, to get the families the support they need, with that, and that's a wonderful cause.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the greatest gift is love for all, man. I mean, I really appreciate that.
That's it, bro.
From you, and I appreciate the interactions with the fans, and just, again, the hype you just bring, it's incredible.
Yeah, man, it's all genuine, bro. This is what I did when I played for the team. That's how I made the team, my personality. I made it hard for them to get rid of me because I was so happy to be there. And I was that vocal leader. I always kept everybody's mind together, kept them laughing, kept them singing and dancing. And it was I just was being myself, just like I'm doing now. And just thankful that God is blessing me. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I know you had brought up too with John Fox, and I remember I watched an interview with the Big Cat, pause up, that you were on, just to kind of get a little bit more background. I didn't want to ask the same questions that you've already been asked, but I thought I wanted to comment on, you mentioned John Fox was just very deeply affected by the decision to cut you, and how he took you aside, and not many people know that about John, the emotional side of John Fox. We fans would see him on the sideline getting fired up. What can you tell us about the type of relationship he had with players? I mean, I could make my own assumptions based off of what you told me about how he put you aside, and then they went into the team meeting, and he did it very discreetly, which was very tasteful. What can you tell us about John Fox?
Hell of a coach, man. Hell of a coach. For my first NFL head coach, man, he was a hell of a coach. He was a player's coach. I felt like I could run through a brick wall for him because he gave that tough love. But then again, he gave you positive, love when you did do something. He just praised you. But then again, he'll jump on your butt too. And it was just like a father. He was a father figure. The team was very old when I got there, older, not old, but it was a family-oriented team. Carolina's always been very family-oriented. And it was just all love, man. All complete love from that situation.
What do you see?
Any
similarities?
Is it a similar environment now? Would you say it's still very because obviously you were there when Jerry Richardson was the owner, and now we have David Tepper. How is it different, and how is it the same?
It still got that family vibe. I would say that it's always gonna be a family vibe. I just think the Carolinas just is a home place. I don't know. It's just something about this place that it feels family oriented. And I would have to say about David Tepper, man, that's a hell of an owner. He's if you ever get the chance to meet him, you'll love him. I mean,
he lived in New Jersey, and an interesting fact, he had worked for Goldman Sachs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so being from New Jersey, one of our former governors was John Corzine. David Tepper had him as a boss, and Corzine fired him. Well, when Tepper made his first billion, he bought Corzine's old house like on the beach from like his ex-wife and demolished it.
Wow.
you know, and I just love.
Wow.
He also, I feel like, tells it like it is, and I think too, as a fan base, we get very attached to certain players, and rightfully so. They come into our homes when we watch them every Sunday. We come into the stadium to see them, the jersey sales and all that. But I think and this is from a fan's perspective, with Jerry Richardson, sometimes he would keep people long past what they were producing for the team. Whereas I think Tepper has that capability to make the correct business move. So, you
hit it right on the head, Brittany. He's definitely more business savvy, I believe, than Jerry Richardson. He's involved. He's involved with this team. He's involved with the day-to-day process. He's very, very opinionated. He's gonna talk. He's not scared to say how he feels, and he's not scared to let you know this is my team. I own this team, and it's gonna go how I said it's gonna go. And he earned that right to do that.
And
he's
and
a very
having
wealthy
a
man,
successful hedge fund business.
Get there. Right, he didn't get there overnight. It took work, and now he's in a position where he owns a great team, and he's doing everything he can to make us playoff Super Bowl ready.
We've got another fan question.
So
yeah, who's the guy on the Panthers defense that isn't getting enough hype?
That's a good question.
What about that corner? What's his name? Taylor?
I say Fox, the defensive tackle.
Morgan Fox?
Morgan Fox. I like Morgan Fox. He's a very, very good guy. He's a veteran. He's going to help. Y'all might not see it, but he's going to really make our defense better. Just having somebody there that knows how to play the sport and been playing it for a while, it brings another aspect to the game, and I like him. I think he's a dark horse that nobody really paying attention to, but he'll be the one to give you like 8 or 9 sacks this year from the D tackle position.
How about that?
I promise you. Please,
gotta love the sacks up
out on that fan base. I'm a coach as well. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to defensive line. He's a guy to look out for. Trust me.
Is there any other player? I mean, other than your brother, like that you have a special bond with on this team that you tend to gravitate a little bit to try and help out?
To be honest with you, another great question, Tom. I spent so many years being so involved in my brother that I really didn't see nobody else. But now, in my hype man days, I try to hype them all, man. I try to, especially the D linemen, the young guys, because I would like to work with them one day. So I always hype them up. I hype the quarterback, whoever it is. I'm gonna try to hype them up and believe in them and be there for them. So I'm trying to forge new relationships with these guys, with the younger guys, and let them know that I'm touchable, I'm approachable. You can come ask me for advice. I done been to some dark places that you might not want to go to. So talk to me before going there. And, I can possibly save you from making some mistakes that I've made in my journey. And I speak for the guys, the 7 rounders. I speak for the guys that got cut, the guys that might have played football for a year, 2 years. I speak for those guys because, the world knows about the Tom Brady's and all of that. But you never hear about the Stanley McClovers.
Everybody has a story.
Yeah. And those guys are the ones that keep it going.
And I think what you bring to the table is very unique because you're not just the family member of a current player who gets to see, when the lights in the stadium go down, you get to see the behind the scenes, the joys, the heartbreak, you get to feel all that, not just from a family perspective, but also you played it, you lived it. So I think that that's a very unique perspective that you bring as a hype man to the team. You definitely relate to us fans. We definitely feel like you're one of us, but you're also one of them too. And I think it's great that you're like the perfect middleman because your experiences have well-rounded you out to where you are very approachable. If they are going through something, chances are you have lived it, and then and you can help them. And you know, I just think what you're doing is really an awesome thing, and it's so unique because you know, in all the years I've been a fan, and I became a fan the first game, the Panthers' first season against the Jets. I saw the Sam Mills interception. My dad was trying to get me to watch to be a Jets fan, and it backfired. Speaking of Julius Peppers, that was the first that jersey I have of Julius Peppers is probably one of my most prized possessions because that was the first jersey. For years, my father would not buy me anything Panthers because he swore it was just a phase. I was going to come to my senses and be a Jets fan. Finally, that was like his concession gift to me. Like, here, I've accepted you're a Carolina. Because you know, I remember that about the team, and I remember them being the underdog going in playing the Jets. And I remember that, and I remember my father saying he was annoyed, you know, that Sam Mills scored, and he was like, "You just like the colors," and I was like, "No, that's my team." And he finally gave me that Julius Peppers. So when you say Pep was your guy, you know, Pep was definitely one of my guys too, and his jersey is very special to me because that was the first. That was like my father accepting that I was a Panthers fan finally after being in denial. I always tell him, like, it could have been a lot worse. I'm like, if Aunt Jen had her way, she was really trying to make me a Miami Dolphins fan. That could have gotten real ugly. You lucked out, Daddy-O.
Get yourself a 53 now.
Yeah, I'm getting myself a 53. That's in the mail. I'm going to be wearing that.
Yes, sir.
That's my boy right there. I'm repping him. I rep Luke. I'm going to rep him.
I love it.
By the way, I want to plug our fan store, the Carolina Fandom fan store, where you can get great T-shirt items and stuff.
Jeff
like what I have here, our Spider Burns shirt.
Spider Burns design.
Yeah, you can't see the mic. The mic's in the way. Woohoo! Yeah, Spider Burns. Anyway, Stanley, we got one of these shirts coming your way. Thanks for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate that.
We appreciate your time.
No problem.
Tell us again where exactly it is that you'll have your tailgate. You mentioned it, but I didn't quite hear.
So if you're not following me on IG, s.mcclover, and same thing on Twitter, s.mcclover Jr., formerly the Hype Man. My spot going to be Hot Fly Brewery right on Mint Street, 1327, I believe, Mint Street. But if you follow me, all the information to be on my page is free for the only thing you have to be a Panther fan. That's the only thing. So long
no
as
Saints fans, none of that. We don't want any of that.
No, we ain't doing that. So long as
Tom is technically a Cowboys fan, but he does love the Panthers. Does he get an exemption?
He with you, Brittany, so he's good. He's good.
Okay, he's good. I get okay.
Where's some Carolina, Tom?
You would wear a jersey anyway, Brian Burns. Come on now.
I'll wear a 0 with a hype man. How about that one?
Okay. All right.
Let's go,
I like that.
Look at that. He won't wear your brother, but he'll wear your jersey. He'll wear a 0.
I'll take it.
That's good.
But that's where we at, man. Hot Fly Brewery, tailgate with Loochie. Week 1 against the Jets, man. Come out, let's have fun.
Bring it.
Let's mingle together, man. Let's just bring the hypeness for our team. They're gonna need our energy. Week 1.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I'm excited for week 1 because that's how it's kind of like full circle. Because you know, growing up in New Jersey, I would only get to see the Panthers live when they played at MetLife, either the Jets or the Giants, and I was always at the away, the visitor, you know. And now Tom and I moved here in June. So now that we're here and we're settled, this is like me living my dream because to get to come full circle, like that game, Panthers versus Jets started my fandom, and now I get to come full circle and be home and in my crowd with my people and see that game again and hopefully get the same results because the Panthers won that one.
That's dope. I love it.
Got to start off 1-0 and then build from there. Then you get the Saints and then the Texans. That's I can't wait to see what they are after week 3. And
Yes, sir.
we all know that winning spurs confidence, and of course, confidence is contagious. Winning is contagious. So you never know. Let's get a streak going. I'm with you there, hype man. We're
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes,
We
sir.
are there. This is what our Carolina Fandom is all about. It's meeting the fans, meeting you, of course. We can't wait to do more of this. We appreciate your story, sharing your
we hope
story.
you come back. We would love to
we'd
have
love
you
you to
back
come
on.
back.
As the season progresses, just to tell you see what you think, pick your brain a little bit, maybe get another fan on, and you can ask them some questions too about their fandom. We love having you. Like I said,
or if you can add another a player to join with you, that would be even a treat as well, because then we could talk about them.
If we could get Brian on this show, he'd be the first player we ever had.
Yeah, that's true.
On the show.
That'd be dope. We'll see what we can do then. Let's try to make that happen.
Okay, we would love that.
Okay,
awesome. Well,
all
thanks
right,
so much,
man.
Hype Man. It's been a pleasure. Anything else you want to plug?
Just follow me on social networks, man. If you get a chance, go by onesleevenation.com/Hypeman Loochie. Sign up for the fan club. You don't want to miss it. We got some great things coming, great surprises coming. So make sure you follow us so you can catch up.
And you got a great shop too with all that 53 merch.
Oh yeah,
that's something worth noting too.
So y'all go check it out, man. If you like it, show some love. If not, still show some love and share it or something like that. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you having me. And I'll see y'all on week 1.
We're ready.
Thank you.
Keep pounding, man. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Stay hype.
Stay hype.
Christian McCaffrey in the open field, inside the 30, inside the 20. McCaffrey touchdown.